Hi guys, welcome back to our channel Pixeled Apps. So today we'll be covering a very interesting topic as to who pays for US bases in Japan. Japan is set to sell out billions of yen more annually to host US military bases, agreeing to the United States request to do so. According to a government source, the Japanese and the US governments are expected to decide that Japan's yearly contribution to host the bases will range from about 250 billion yen to 290 billion yen from fiscal 2022. That would mean significantly more money than the 201.7 billion yen Japan paid in fiscal 2021 will go into what it refers to as Omyori Yosen or sympathy budget. The added funds mean that Japan will pay more for the cost of joint drills between the US forces and the self-defense forces, among other things. The Japan-US Status of Forces Agreement states that as a basic principle, Japan must bear the cost relating to hosting US bases, while the United States pays for maintaining US military facilities and operational expenditures. In the late 1970s, when Japan was seeing rapid economic growth and consumer prices increased while the US economy was in trouble, Japan also agreed to pay part of the labor cost for non-military base employees as well as the facility maintenance cost. Since fiscal 1987, Japan has been paying the entirety of those labor expenses plus utility costs that are supposed to be covered by the US allies by name, saying that they should pay all costs for bases within their borders. The statements stem from deep-rooted criticism in the US that allies dependent on US military power for their security are getting a free ride.
United States has several Navy bases in Japan which support military operations in the Asia-Pacific region. The US Navy has been present in Japan for over 150 years, and the close relationship between the two country navies is reflected in the strong cooperation between the two countries' militaries more generally. The US-Japan Security Alliance is one of the cornerstones of American foreign policy in Asia, and the US Navy plays a vital role in upholding this alliance. Japan has a fairly large number of US military bases, and also the Second World War, the Vietnam War, and the early 1970s were all periods when one or both of these organizations were founded. In exchange for the US commitment to defend Japan from external attacks, Japanese governments have agreed to allow US military bases on the island of Okinawa. Following the US invasion of Japan in 1945, the Americans established military bases on the island of Okinawa.
The United States has about $5.5 billion budgeted for its military presence in Japan in fiscal 2016. That's around 600 billion yen. So Japan is in fact paying much more for the US forces here than the United States itself. According to US documents from 24, Japan pays more than 70% of the cost of hosting US forces as compared to between 30 and 40% in South Korea, Germany, and other nations. However, as the role of Japan's self-defense forces expands under new security-related legislations, the Finance Ministry's Fiscal System Council has declared that the US military hosting cost must be re-evaluated and reduced. Normally, Japan's contribution is updated every 5 years under a special agreement. It was scheduled to be updated last year, but the two countries couldn't agree on the amount as then US President Donald Trump demanded a significant increase in it. In February, the new Biden administration and Japan reached a tentative agreement that Japan would continue to pay the amount decided under the previous agreement for another year. Currently, both governments have been discussing Japan's contribution for the 5 years commencing in fiscal 2022, and the United States has been asking for an increase. The breakdown for 201.7 billion contribution in fiscal 2021 includes 129.4 billion yen for salaries for employees working in the bases such as basic salaries and 23.4 billion yen for facilities utility bills. Japan is likely to accept the US demand for an increase by paying more for joint drills between the American forces and the SDF. Japan, however, hopes to pay less for the utility bills.
Japan and US had agreed on a 5-year plan that will maintain Japan and current spending to support US military forces in the country but reduce the number of Japanese workers on the base, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs announced. The Japanese government will spend 188.1 billion yen or $2.02 billion annually on Japanese employees' salaries, utilities and base maintenance. Japan has been spending roughly the same annual amount under a 3-year deal that got expired. The government spent a high of $3.17 billion in 1999. Amid the Taiwan-China crisis, the Philippines has stated that it would allow the US forces to use its military bases in the event of a Taiwan conflict. In a Defense Ministry budget request for fiscal 2023 expected by the end of August, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida's ruling party is looking to double spending over 5 years from this year's 5.4 trillion yen, that is $39.5 billion. Outlays of that scale could propel Japan from 9th in the world for military spending to a likely 3rd spot behind the US and China. Japan has traditionally kept its defense budget to about 1% of GDP, relying on the US nuclear umbrella to back up its own capabilities under a pacifist constitution.
Thank you for watching the video. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe to our channel, and also please don't forget to hit the like button and don't forget to check out our book that's exclusively available on Amazon.